hundreds of businesses call the West Seattle Junction home. From retail and restaurants to small coffee shops.
We don't just simply own the businesses. Oftentimes we live in those same neighborhoods that we own businesses in.
Angela Koff runs Hot Wire Coffee. Today, she's putting up signs letting the community know she's joined the Junction Business Block Watch in West Seattle.
We've had issues here at our location with milk theft.
Koff says the swelling population of the Junction has brought with it more aggressive criminal behavior.
We've actually had people jumping the fence to get into the back, and they've actually gone and used bolt cutters to get into our fridges to take our milk.
She says in the last couple months, she's invested $3,000 in security upgrades.
One of the hardest things, I think, when you see a crime happening or something's happened to you, you just don't feel like there's a pathway other than SPD.
With about 300 businesses here in the Junction, the Business Association collaborated with SPD to create the city's first ever business block watch. It allows business owners to text and electronically message each other about crime that just happened and to stay on the lookout.
And what we can probably do is, if we're connecting the dots enough, maybe, just maybe, we can catch the criminal.
Crime prevention coordinator for the Seattle Police Department, Jennifer Danner, says there's only so much her small unit can do.
Now there's only 5 of us in our units for the whole city.
Danner says crime has gone up here, and since SPD prioritizes responses based on threat level, the Block Watch is a way for the community to take crime prevention into their own hands.
The more that we can sort of watch each other's backs and make sure that we're monitoring what's going on, the better I think all of us will feel about the changes as the city grows and evolves.
In Seattle, Tatevik Aprikyan, Q13 News. SeaTac is the 9th busiest airport in the country with more than 18,000 employees. Just how Richard Russell, a 3.5-year employee of Horizon Air, was able to operate the Q400 aircraft without a pilot's license remains unclear. His friend and former coworker DeAndre Halbert says Russell recently joined the tow team, gaining more access to the airplane than regular grounds crew.
They've been trained to turn on and off the plane, and things that that I wouldn't know, or regular ramp agents wouldn't know anything about.
Russell took the airplane from Cargo 1 on the north end of SeaTac, turned it 180 degrees using tow equipment before taxiing it onto runway 16 Center. Former pilot and air traffic control operator Randy Bachman says the short taxi may have been easy to miss.
It could be like straight out to the runway within just a few couple 300 yards, and there he is. He's on a runway. So it could have been very fast.
Audio from the control tower indicates they noticed the rogue aircraft.
Who's the aircraft on runway 16 Center? You can't fly out of the cargo area called and scramble now. No, we are.
That call to scramble put F-15 fighter jets from Portland in the air within minutes, following Russell as he did stunts before crashing on Ketron Island. So why wasn't anyone able to stop him before taking off in the first place? Bachman says this isn't something anyone anticipates.
We just don't have any contingency to intercept really and stop an airplane other than physically I guess, getting in front of it with some sort of a big fire truck or something. We just don't have a contingency plan for that. We just don't train for those things.
The 29-year-old had full credentials according to airport officials and had passed background checks. The incident now raising serious concerns about security at one of the nation's busiest airports.
All right, kiddos.
It's an afternoon treat at the Rainey household.
Look at all the sprinkles.
Baking cupcakes during a play date with friends.
Put in the cake batter, the water, oil, and eggs. Need some help?
The mixture marketed to kids is filled with colored sprinkles.
The cord is only so long.
Dyes and a bunch of other food additives. These ingredients and the effects on child health is what this pediatrician has been looking into.
You know, children are not little adults. They have developing brains and developing organ systems, and if you affect those at very early ages, it can have lifelong consequences.
Her report, published in the journal Pediatrics, shows, among other things, the harmful effects of food coloring, which has increased 5-fold in American food products over the past 6 decades.
Yellow, green.
The report lists food coloring may be associated with worsened ADHD, and studies cited say those children who cut synthetic food coloring showed decreased ADHD symptoms.
Scoop.
Even though a developing child's health is the most susceptible to adverse effects of food additives, adults are also at risk when consuming meat containing nitrites and nitrates.
Even the endocrine disrupting chemicals, they've been associated with things like endometriosis or testicular cancer.
I can tell they're already not ready. They need a couple more minutes.
At the Rainey's, Mom Rebecca says she's as vigilant as she can be.
And as a mom, I think it really just makes me almost more upset that companies are allowed to put all that in the food for kids and us.
But the report doesn't just cover what's in your food, but also what's around your food. Bisphenols, better known as BPA, used in metal linings of cans for foods like tomatoes, can act like estrogen in the body, potentially changing the timing of puberty, decreasing fertility, increasing obesity, and affecting the immune system. More and more companies are banning BPA from products.
The easiest thing to do is to transfer your food from plastic to ceramic or glass container and then put it in the microwave. As long as you're not heating up the plastic.
Heating the plastics lets those loosely bound chemicals seep into your food. For Rainey, that's a switch she's slowly making.
I tried to switch a lot of it over to glass. You know, I mean, we've got the glass bowls and stuff like that we store in, but you know, definitely have like the plastic containers too.
It's these small changes that can make big impacts on health.
I wish I had a little more time to make everything fresh and not have to rely on so much store-bought, but life is just so busy with kids on the run.
No, we got like Easter colors.
But even the doctors say colored cupcakes,
I got green and blue.
once in a while, is just fine.
Well, you can add some more yellow.
It's the science behind the spirit that led Kirby Callis Lewis to open Ula Distillery on Capitol Hill 9 years ago.
I always have loved math and science.
This place is a laboratory for this spirit scientist.
We call them gin kits. It's a gin botanical mixture, and each one of these will infuse a 100-liter container. We do gin, vodka, and whiskey.
The process of grain to glass is his passion.
We make about 15,000 cases a year.
Plans have been in the works to expand Ula's products internationally.
The last year, it's been a real focus to start exporting.
Exporting to England, Germany, Belgium, and Spain, Kirby says the projected profit from entering the European market would increase overall business
By 30%.
But now the cork has been put in the bottle for that plan.
The tariffs have absolutely pulled the rug out from under us. We completely shut down that program.
He even bought a several $100,000 copper still to increase production for exporting.
It's a big purchase for a small business.
That cost, the lost projected profit, is having an impact professionally.
There's some people we were going to hire that we won't hire now.
And personally.
Hard to not kind of feel like a pawn.
He says the tariff impact also hits other businesses like breweries, wineries, still makers on equipment, which could impact consumers.
Certainly there'll be pressure on prices, for sure.
For a business with already slim profit margins,
it's pennies per bottle, not even $1 per bottle.
Kirby says like his bourbon in barrels need time, so does his business right now.
Going to take some confidence building because I feel like this just came out of nowhere.
The focus now, aging locally instead of globally. In Seattle, Tatevik Aprikyan, Q13 News.
Reading earlier today.
Lessons at Lake Ridge Elementary sometimes come from storybooks.
It's the ripple effect.
And sometimes a student's story is the lesson. You see those orange bracelets on the wrists of these second graders.
Orange is the color that represents leukemia.
Were created for their classmate, Ewan Lil, who's fighting leukemia.
I like that they're thinking of me.
This soft-spoken 7-year-old who loves Legos, superheroes,
Captain America?
was diagnosed last summer.
Maybe a little sad.
Chemo treatments mean he's out of class a lot.
Class isn't usual without him, and sometimes we escape him.
His absence, felt by peers, inspired leaders of the K-Kids Club, an elementary component of the International Kiwanis organization, to make this year's community service project raising money for cancer research.
It's gonna try to help cure me.
Banding together, this group designed bracelets.
On them, they have K-Kids Cures Cancer.
Selling more than 1,100 in just 2 weeks and raising
Over $5,000.
Their teacher, an educator for 40 years, retiring next month, says this kind of empathy you just can't teach.
My cup runneth over. I just thought, this is how I want children to be raised, to be compassionate and caring about someone or something that they will fight for, something that will make a difference.
Cancer, the tough teacher handing out lessons to these little learners.
I hope that the people in the hospital, like kids who suffer from leukemia, know that there's other people that out there who want to help them, and that they're not just alone.
An orange bracelet and a few $1,000s may not fund a cure, but it's the ripple effect from classroom story time that one good deed will lead to others, coming to life off the pages in a very real way.
K-Kids Cures Cancer.
Our signature omelet is a 12-egg omelet.
Beth's Cafe on Aurora Avenue has been serving up breakfast 24 hours a day for 64 years.
It's just delicious food.
Sean Carney takes 99 to get here on weekends.
I'm a carpenter, so...
And uses Aurora during weekdays.
I gotta drive up to the Home Depot up in Aurora, usually after work, like 4 times a week. So that'll be different. I might have to go to the Southern Home Depot down in Utah.
It's those after-work hours that'll be impacted with WashDOT's repaving of State Route 99.
So tell me more about this construction, because seriously, I haven't heard anything.
Starting Monday, a 7.5-mile stretch from Roy Street to 145th will see lane reductions and closures between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m.
I don't like driving on 99. It's unpredictable, but usually slow.
Chris Dalton owns Beth's, the bar next door, and another place further up on 99. Mention roadwork to him, and he reflects back to the Aurora facelift and shoreline a few years ago that took a hit on his business up there.
It was really hard to do business up there. Day to day, you weren't sure how your customers could even get into your parking lot.
So there's a bit of worry with this go around too.
Hopefully it doesn't make it so that we need to not have as many people working here, because obviously if we literally lose business, at some point we've got to figure out how to compensate for that.
WashDOT says most of the work will be done overnight to fix the aging road, which was last repaved in 1999.
7 p.m., 8 p.m.
Now showing wear and tear with cracks and potholes.
We're still going to take a hit.
About a dozen bus stop pads and improving 50 pedestrian crossing areas are also part of this project.
That's everywhere in Seattle, though. There's more and more pressure on traffic, so it's just going to be another headache.
15th is going to be crazy, right?
In Seattle.
Well, I guess we'll just see.
Tatevik Aprikyan, Q13 News. A crisp night in Seattle.
You know, I think actually there's probably enough light.
As Veterans Day comes to a close, November 12th, 2018.
I may not seem it, but I'm pretty excited.
Is a date former Marine Corporal Lance Nadler will remember from this day forward.
Especially with what I'm going through right now, she's been there for me like since day one.
For this 28-year-old veteran who followed in his father's footsteps and joined the Marines.
Crete, Greece, was in Kuwait, then we went to Jordan.
It wasn't a combat injury that turned this young Marine into a tetraplegic, but a car accident. The other date, August 15th, 2018, which forever changed his life.
I got in a vehicle accident with a moose, and here we are now.
Here, outside the VA, where Nadler gets intense rehabilitation, today is about celebration.
Which brings us to this very day.
These vows,
in sickness and in health,
have already been tested for this couple who fell in love before Nadler's accident.
As a single mum, it was just me and a raised Stevie on my own. And we decided that we were going to go on this big American adventure, like winging it.
On her American adventure, she met Lance.
What really got me was watching my little girl fall in love with her dad. So that really got me.
And when the unexpected happened,
he had his accident, and I thought I loved him more than I ever could at that point.
They decided life is about picking the battles you fight.
Well, this is my veteran.
And choosing who stands by your side.
May you always need one another.
Everybody else has got a different story. This is ours.
A love story of resilience, rising strong, and looking ahead.
He told me he'll walk again, and that's my job now to make sure that happens. So, and then hopefully we can renew our vows and he can walk down the aisle to me.
In Seattle,
happily ever after.
Tatevik Aprikyan, Q13 News.